They say wisdom comes with age. But no one talks about the silent battles that come with it. Waking up tired, even after a full night's sleep. Watching the world change so fast, it feels like you're being left behind. Feeling forgotten in a room full of people. These are the truths no one prepares you for. And while the world keeps moving, many elderly people quietly struggle, hoping someone somewhere will finally say what needs to be said. Well, this is that moment, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to share 7 harsh but deeply important truths that every elderly person needs to hear. Not sugar-coated advice, not polite encouragement, but real, raw, powerful reminders that can help you take control of your life again. If you've ever felt like no one understands what you're going through, this message is for you. Here's the truth. Getting older is a privilege, but that doesn't mean it's easy. The aches, the loneliness, the sense of being invisible, these aren't just feelings, they're warning signals from life, pushing you to wake up, rise and reclaim your strength before it's too late. And here's why you should stay till the end. Because most people only hear the soft voices telling them to take it easy or slow down. But what if the real key to happiness at this age is doing the opposite? What if the peace you're looking for isn't in staying comfortable, but in facing some uncomfortable truths? Today we're not talking about retirement plans or vitamin supplements. We're going deeper into the minds, the choices, the habits, the things no one dares to say out loud. But that could change everything if you listen with an open heart. You'll learn why expecting others to understand your pain might be the very thing that's keeping you stuck. Why holding on to the past, even beautiful memories, could be quietly stealing your joy. Why being needed by your children shouldn't be your purpose, and how chasing that can leave you empty. And perhaps most importantly, why the world doesn't owe you anything, but why that's a powerful and freeing truth. These are not easy things to hear, but they are necessary, because the older you get, the more you realize, no one is coming to save you. It's up to you now, and that's not a punishment, it's a chance to finally live on your terms. A chance to let go of guilt, regrets, and fear. A chance to rewrite the ending of your story, not with sadness, but with strength. Each tip I'm about to share is built on lived experience, deep reflection, and lessons that far too many people only realize when it's too late. But you're here now, and that means you're ready. Ready to hear the truth. Ready to face what others avoid. Ready to grow, even now. So before we dive into the 7 tips, I want you to do one thing. Take a deep breath. Not just for calm, but as a reminder. A reminder that you're still here, still breathing, still capable, still alive. And as long as you're alive, change is possible. Healing is possible. Peace is possible. So stay with me, not just for the tips, but for yourself. Because the next few minutes could be the turning point you didn't know you needed. The words you've been waiting to hear, the mirror you've been avoiding. Are you ready? Let's begin. Before we talk about the more practical changes you can make in life, let's start with something deeply emotional, something many people don't talk about but almost everyone feels, and that's the pain of not being understood. You've been through a lot, more than most people can imagine. Decades of work, sacrifice, loss, joy, and countless moments that shaped you into who you are today. But here's the hard truth. Not everyone will understand that. Not your children, not your friends, not even the people who love you the most. It's natural to want someone to see your pain, to recognize the weight you carry in your heart and body. You want someone to sit beside you and say, I get it. But life doesn't always work that way. The people around you, especially the younger ones, may be caught up in their own struggle. They might be too distracted, too busy, or simply too inexperienced to truly grasp what you're going through. And the more you wait for someone to notice, the more invisible you start to feel. The frustration builds. Why don't they see how much I'm hurting? Why don't they check on me more? But this kind of thinking leads to bitterness, not healing. Because every time you expect sympathy and don't receive it, you feel let down, and that disappointment starts to chip away at your spirit. So here's the shift you need to make. Accept that some battles are yours to face alone. This doesn't mean you have to isolate yourself or suffer in silence. It means you stop tying your healing to someone else's awareness. You stop waiting for permission to feel better. You stop hoping for someone to fix what's broken inside you. Instead, you begin to understand that your pain is yours, and so is your power to rise above it. There is quiet strength in accepting what others can't see. It's not weakness. It's not giving up. It's maturity. It's wisdom. It's the understanding that not every story needs an audience, and not every wound needs a witness to heal. Some healing happens in silence. Some strength is built in solitude. This isn't easy. When your body aches or memories flood in late at night, when loneliness creeps in and the world feels too loud or too far away, it's tempting to fall into the trap of waiting for someone to reach out. But instead, what if you reached inward? What if you reminded yourself that your value, your strength, your dignity, they don't come from someone else's understanding. They come from within. And maybe, just maybe, when you stop expecting others to carry your pain, you'll find the freedom to carry it yourself, with grace, with resilience, and with the quiet pride of someone who has lived a full life and is still standing. Your health is no longer something you can afford to leave to chance, not anymore. There was a time when your body bounced back easily. You could eat whatever you liked, skip a few nights of sleep, ignore small aches, and still wake up ready to go. But those days are behind you now. The older you get, the more clearly this becomes true. Your health is 100% your responsibility. Doctors can offer advice, medicines can help manage symptoms, but at the end of the day, only you can decide to take the steps that truly make a difference. Only you can choose to get up and move your body. Only you can decide what goes on your plate. Only you can say, I want to feel better, and I'm ready to do something about it. This isn't about perfection. It's not about strict diets or intense workout. It's about making daily decisions, small, consistent choices that protect your strength, your balance, your independence. Because here's the reality. When you stop moving, you start breaking down. Muscles weaken, joints stiffen, energy, and the more you avoid physical activity, the harder it becomes to return to it. Yes, aging is natural. Some decline is part of life, but what's not natural is giving up on yourself. What's not natural is handing over your health to fate, or thinking, well, this is just how it is now. No, it isn't. Not entirely. You still have power, you still have control. Think about something as simple as walking. You don't need a gym membership or fancy equipment. A short walk every day around the block, inside your home, even just back and forth across the room, can help keep your legs strong, your heart active, your mood lifted. Movement isn't just physical, it touches your mind, your emotions, your spirit. And then there's food. Eating well doesn't mean cutting out everything you enjoy. It means being mindful, choosing real, fresh foods more often, reducing the sugar that causes inflammation and fatigue, drinking more water to keep your body functioning smoothly. Your plate is a powerful tool. Use it with intention. You're not eating just to satisfy hunger anymore. You're eating to fuel your future. It's easy to say I'm too old to change now, but that's just an excuse. You've changed so many times in life. You've adapted to new jobs, new cities, new technologies, even the loss of loved ones. You've survived more than most people realize. So don't tell yourself that change isn't possible. It is. The body may resist, but the mind leads the way. And don't wait for someone else to push you. Your children might be too busy. Your spouse might be dealing with their own issues. Your friends might not have the energy to join you. That's okay. This journey is yours. Own it. No one is coming to save your health. The responsibility is in your hands now. Start small. Stretch when you wake up. Add a piece of fruit to your breakfast. Stand up and sit down from a chair 5 times a day, just to keep your legs strong. Replace one sugary drink with a glass of water. These actions may seem tiny, but over time they stack up. They build a foundation. They give your body what it needs to stay sharp, mobile, and alive. You're not doing this to impress anyone. You're doing it so you can keep doing the things you love, whether that's walking to the store, tending to a garden, or playing with your grandchildren. You're doing it so you can stay out of the hospital, avoid unnecessary medications, and maintain your dignity. Because there's nothing more frustrating than relying on others for things you once did yourself. And here's something important. Don't wait for a health scare to wake you up. Don't wait for the fall, the diagnosis, the emergency room visit. Prevention is quiet. It doesn't get applause, but it works. It gives you time. It gives you options. Start seeing your health as your most valuable possession. More valuable than money. More valuable than property. Because once it's gone, all the things you thought mattered, cars, homes, titles, they won't mean much, but your ability to move freely, think clearly, and live with ease, that's everything. Let others waste time complaining about what they can't do. You focus on what you can do. Every small victory matters. Every glass of water you drink, instead of soda, every walk you take instead of staying on the couch, every time you say I'll do a little more today than I did yesterday. That's strength. That's self-respect. That's taking control. You don't need anyone's permission to start caring for yourself, and you don't need to explain it to anyone either. This is your body, your future, your life, and while you may not be able to control everything, illness, genetics, accidents, you can control your habits, and your habits are what shape your quality of life now. So don't put it off. Don't say maybe tomorrow, because tomorrow becomes next week, and next week becomes next year, and before you know it you're looking back with regret. Choose now. Choose health. Choose to show yourself the same care and attention you once gave to everyone else. You've spent a lifetime putting others first. Now it's your turn. Not in a selfish way but in a responsible way. Because if you want to stay strong, stay independent, and stay joyful in the years ahead, the path begins here, with you, your choices, and your commitment to your own well-being. There's something comforting about the past, the way things used to be, the people who used to be around, the simpler times when the world felt slower, kinder, easier to understand, and when you've lived long enough, those memories become a part of your daily life. They sit quietly with you in your home, in your routines, in your thoughts. But there's a fine line between remembering the past and being trapped by it. You've seen the world change. You've watched traditions fade, music shift, values evolve. Sometimes it feels like the world you once knew is gone, replaced by noise, speed and distance. People seem more disconnected, more distracted, and in that contrast, the past starts to feel like a warm, safe place you want to return to. But you can't. No one can. And here's the truth that's hard to accept. The more you live in the past, the more you lose what's right in front of you. Yes, life has changed. Maybe you lost someone you loved deeply, a partner, a sibling, a best friend. Maybe you miss the days when your children were small, or when your body moved without pain. These memories are real, and they matter. But if you let them take over your present, you risk becoming a prisoner to what was, instead of embracing what still is. When you talk only about the past, when every sentence begins with back in my day, you slowly disconnect from the now. You miss new experiences, new people, new joy. You stop growing. And just because your age is moving forward, doesn't mean your spirit has to stand still. The present may look different, but it still has gifts to offer if you're willing to look for them. There's power in learning to carry the past, without living in it. Let the memories stay with you, but don't let them hold you hostage. Visit them, smile at them, even cry if you need to, but then come back. Come back to today, to the moment still unfolding, to the laughter that still exists, to the beauty that's still waiting. You can't rewrite the past, but you can write the rest of your story. And if you're stuck in yesterday, you'll never discover what today could bring. The world may have changed, but that doesn't mean it's done with you. There are people who still want to hear your voice, who still value your present, but they need the present version of you, not just the memories. Time is moving forward, whether we like it or not. Don't spend your precious days walking backward. Don't let the pain of what's gone rob you of what's left. The past shaped you, but it doesn't have to define you. You are still here, and as long as you are, life isn't finished with you yet. One of the most difficult truths to face as a parent is this: your children have their own lives now, and no matter how much you love them, no matter how much you've sacrificed, no matter how deep your bond once was when they were young, there comes a time when you have to step back and let them go. Not because you love them any less, but because holding on too tightly will only create distance, not closeness. It's natural to want to stay involved. You raised them, you protected them, you were the center of their world, and maybe for a long time they were the center of yours. But things change, they grow, they move out, they build families, they chase careers, they make choices, some that make you proud,
others that might confuse or even hurt you. And through all of that, your instinct may be to hold on, to guide, to correct, to remind them of what you think is best. But doing that too much can start to feel like control, and no one, no matter how much they love you, wants to feel controlled. There's a harsh but important truth here. Your children are not your caretaker. They love you, they respect you, and they want the best for you, but they also have the right to live their lives without carrying the weight of your expectations or guilt. If every phone call is filled with complaints, if every visit turns into a discussion about how little time they give you, or how things used to be, it doesn't pull them closer, it pushes them away. Love them by giving them freedom. Support them without strings attached. Celebrate their successes without reminding them of your sacrifices. Let them parent their children, make their own mistakes, find their own way, even if you don't always agree. That's what real love looks like. Not control, not guilt, but quiet, steady support from the background. A presence that comforts without demanding. This doesn't mean you should disappear from their lives. It doesn't mean you're not important anymore. Quite the opposite. Your role is still valuable, but it has changed. You're not the decision maker now. You're the wise voice, the safe space, the one who listens more than lectures. And that shift can be painful. It can feel like losing a part of yourself, but in reality, it's the beginning of a new chapter, one where your relationship can grow on new terms if you allow. Many elderly parents carry unspoken disappointment. They don't visit enough. They didn't call me this week. I did everything for them, and now they're too busy. These feelings are valid, but they can also become poison if they're not handled with grace. Bitterness doesn't build bridges, it burns them. And if you're not careful, your children will start associating every interaction with guilt or pressure, and they'll pull away, not out of lack of love, but for their own peace. So what's the alternative? Live your life. Find your own purpose beyond your role as a parent. You still have time. You still have days ahead of you. Days that can be filled with discovery, friendship, laughter, hobbies. The more you take care of your own happiness, the more your children will feel free to come close. Not out of duty, but out of love. When your children see you thriving, staying active, finding joy, being content, they'll feel proud. They'll want to be around you. They won't feel the pressure of being your only source of joy. Because let's face it, no one wants to feel like they're responsible for someone else's happiness. Not even your children. Especially not your children. Letting them live their lives doesn't mean you're letting go of love. It means you're giving that love room to breathe. It means you're releasing the need to be needed. That's one of the hardest things a parent can do. But it's also one of the most loving. And don't forget, you still have your own life to live. Maybe for years you put your dreams aside for your family. Maybe you never traveled because you were too busy working or raising kids. Maybe you gave up hobbies, friendships, or ambitions because someone else needed you. But what about now? What's stopping you from rediscovering those parts of yourself? It's not too late to learn something new, to start a garden, to volunteer, to write, to sing, to dance, to meet new people. Life didn't end when your kids grew up. If anything, it gave you space to finally focus on yourself. And that's not selfish, it's healthy. There is beauty in independence at any age. You don't need to wait for anyone else's permission to enjoy your own company, to create a peaceful routine, to build a life that feels fulfilling. Your children may be busy, but you don't have to sit around waiting for their attention. You can create a life so full that when they call or visit, it's just the cherry on top, not the whole dessert. Let your kids see you as someone who is strong, joyful, and whole. Not just a parent, but a person with passions, opinions, and purpose. That's the greatest gift you can give them, because it shows them how to age with dignity, how to transition with grace, and how to love without holding on too tightly. You'll always be their parent. That role never disappears. But how you carry it now, how you love them without leaning too hard, how you release control with kindness, that's what determines the kind of relationship you'll have moving forward. You can be a source of peace in their lives, or you can be a source of pressure. The choice, as always, is yours. And remember, giving them the freedom to live doesn't take anything away from you. In fact, it gives you something back. The freedom to rediscover yourself, to live fully, to grow again. Because as long as you're breathing, there is more life to be lived, and it belongs to you. Loneliness is one of those feelings that creeps in quietly. It doesn't always announce itself with tears or sadness. Sometimes it just feels like silence, like too much time in your own head, like waiting for the phone to ring, but it never does. For many people growing older, loneliness becomes a constant companion. Loved ones pass away, friends move on, family gets busy, the days stretch longer, and the nights feel even more still. And it hurts, not in a dramatic way, but in a slow, invisible kind of ache. But here's the truth that often goes unspoken. Loneliness is real, but so is choice. You may not be able to bring back the people who are gone, or make others give you more time, but you still have power. You still have options. You can choose to stay in the same place, emotionally and physically, or you can choose to move toward connection, one small step at a time. It starts with a decision. You can stay isolated, watching the same shows, walking the same quiet halls, telling yourself that no one understands, or that it's too late to make new friends. Or you can call someone you haven't spoken to in years. You can show up to a local community center, even if just to watch. You can join a book club, a walking group, or a class for something you've always wanted to learn. And no, it won't feel easy at first. The first steps never do, but doing nothing will never change how you feel. You don't need to wait for someone to come knock on your door and invite you into a better life. That moment may never come, and sitting around, hoping someone will notice your silence, only leads to more silence. Sometimes you have to be the one to reach out to take the risk of discomfort, to say I matter, and I'm going to do something about how I feel. You might be surprised how many people out there feel the same way you do, waiting for someone else to make the first move. Maybe they're just as nervous, just as unsure, but someone has to take the lead. Why not you? Why not today? Loneliness doesn't always disappear overnight, but with effort, it becomes softer. It stops being the dominant voice in your life. New routines bring new energy. New conversations bring new perspective. Even small connections, a smile at the store, a brief chat at the park, begin to remind you that the world is still full of people, and you're still a part of it. You're not invisible, you're not forgotten, but you have to believe that enough to act on. You have to stop telling yourself that connection is something for other people. It's for you too, and it starts with one choice. It's easy to feel like after all these years, the world should treat you a certain way. After all, you've lived a full life. You've worked hard, raised families, helped others, paid your dues. You've earned some peace, some appreciation, some respect. And while all of that may be true, there's something we all eventually need to understand. No matter how old we are, no one owes you anything. That may sound harsh at first, even unfair, but think about it. Respect, love, kindness, these aren't things we can demand simply because of our age. They're things we have to continue earning every day, through how we show up, how we speak, how we treat others. Age deserves acknowledgement, yes, but respect grows from character, not from counting candles on a birthday cake. It's tempting to expect others, especially younger people, to listen to us just because we've lived longer. But life doesn't work that way. People respond to how you make them feel. They respond to your attitude, your tone, your presence. If you carry bitterness, resentment, or entitlement, even the most well-meaning people will slowly pull away. But if you carry humility, warmth, and a willingness to listen, others will lean in. Being kind is never beneath you. Being helpful, even in small ways, keeps you relevant and connected. Being humble opens doors to conversations, friendships, and understanding that arrogance would slam shut. No one is too old to grow, no one is too experienced to learn, and no one gets a free pass to demand love or attention. It's not about giving up your worth. It's about realizing your power lies in how you inspire others, not how much you insist on what you think you deserve. People won't help you more just because you complain loud. They'll help you more if they see grace in your struggle, courage in your honesty, and gratitude in your heart. The truth is, we all want to be valued. We all want to feel seen and appreciated. But the way to get that is by giving. When you show genuine interest in others, even the younger ones, when you ask questions, instead of always giving advice, when you listen without judgment, When you lift others up instead of always reminding them of how things used to be, you create a connection that goes deeper than it. You don't need to demand space. Earn it with kindness. You don't need to beg for respect. Earn it by being respectful. Show the world that even now you are still learning, still growing, still shining. Be the kind of person others want to be around, not out of duty, but out of genuine admiration. That's the real power, not in what you expect from others, but in what you offer them through your presence, your words, your energy. And when you live that way, the love you receive isn't forced. It's real, it's lasting, it's earned. Getting older isn't easy, but it doesn't have to be bitter. These tips may sound harsh, but they come from a place of love and respect, because you still matter, and your life still has meaning. Keep growing, keep smiling, and most of all, keep living with purpose. If this video spoke to you, give it a like, and subscribe to our channel for more wisdom, strength and motivation, made just for you.